Well, hello there, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today, what are we doing today? Today we're going to be doing a sort of a channeled message. It's not going to be a collective channeled message because I don't feel like tuning into the collective right now. I just very feel inspired to be channeling a message that Spirit wants to communicate for those who will be stumbling upon this video, but it may not be reflecting the collective. Just want to point that out there. And yeah, we just got, the energy is so sweet, so I'm so eager to see what they have to do, what they have to say, what they have to do. Yeah, so if you're curious about that message, if you're here, make yourself comfortable, make yourself at home, you already know the jazz. And while you're at it, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out when I post new videos. It supports me a lot. That being said, let's get into it. So, as I was shuffling, I just felt the inspiration that I needed to come through, to make a reading. I just felt like not a pick a card reading. It just felt like a really simple, very effortless, even vulnerable kind of reading. And as I was shuffling the decks that we will potentially be using today, don't know if we're going to be using them all, but I just, I have the habit of just shuffling the decks so as to refresh the energy, especially if I haven't shuffled them since the last readings, to make sure that, we don't got energies going on in the decks that may be related to past stuff. And as I was doing that, this card popped up, and I was just struck by the color. And intuitively, when I picked up crystals to go along with it, I went for I got one wooden bowl with which I got certain sets of crystals that just love to hang out together. And I got other bowls for other kinds of crystals. It's just that bowl I know is full of crystals that just vibe together. Here are some of them, and the energy is just so sweet, very, very much in the feminine, and a lot of sacral energy, judging by the orange. And so, yeah, I just feel like it's such a sweet energy, such a vulnerable energy that really needs to be discussed, I feel. I'm also hearing straight off the bat, as in, you are of the rare kind because of the fact that you're showing up to this kind of energies, to this kind of work, despite having so many reasons not to. We're talking about the sacral energy, the energetical womb, even for the men who are on this reading, myself included. The energetical womb, of the energy of receiving, the energy of letting ourselves being taken care of, allowing ourselves to receive. I'm also channeling a message. I'm gonna stop saying that because it's gonna get so redundant. When we talk about manifestation, it may be a bit of a headache at first for some people who've grown up with resistances, like feelings of unworthiness. And manifestation is a natural process, but sometimes we, without knowing it, get into our own way. And one thing I'm hearing here is manifestation isn't about creating something new, although that's very much the energy that you're into. It's about allowing yourself to receive that which already exists, that which already has been created. So there is this energy of receiving, which is fundamental. And for those who have not grown up with necessarily feeling like they were having an easy time receiving, perhaps because they did not receive much energetically in the past, that can get our sacral junked up, a little messed up, a little up in the air. And so this energy coming through is so beautiful, but it feels like it's so important to discuss because, in the society that we are living in, it's no surprise to there's very much, the invitation is very much the one of just, keep on running, hustle, 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 you have to do it all. There isn't so much the energy of just sitting back, relaxing, letting the world support you. If lucky, it's deemed as lazy, It's more that kind of energy that we go through as a collective, although we're getting out of it, and that's good. But I just feel that's where this message of there's so much pride and the invitation to honor one's strength in showing up to this, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, to open up our hearts, our sacral, even when we may have been raised to, and we may keep on hearing messages that are inviting us to just do. If you want it, then you have to work your ass off to get it. That's the kind of message that goes around more often than not. So you resonating with the frequency of this video, which is very much about this message of opening up the heart and sacral, that's already a big thing I'm hearing. So let's bring out the tarot straight off the bat. It just feels, yeah, such a sweet, such a soft, such a vulnerable energy, but one which has struggled a little bit to express itself. It's like, it just feels like the journey of a wounded, like someone who's in the past. Is like this energy is present within every one of us, but here I'm tuning into the energy of, yes, people who have been walking with a story of being in their wounded masculine, of having to always go and get it themselves, not feeling like they could rely on someone else, people who feel chronically stressed, people who feel like people who never ask for help, people who just are in this energy of, you want something, well, go and get it yourself. Although, like, the heart cringes very much, very strongly, and there's just this scream I'm hearing. It just feels like a scream of just wanting to live life differently, keeping things simple and not having to struggle for everything, and just letting ourselves being like, yeah, taken care of by the world. Back out the deck energy, Six of Cups is very much inner child energy that we're talking about, which is not surprising. It's very much the energy I'm tuning into right now, because it's just like the sacred flow of, yes, let's just talk about this card. The color is stunning straight off the bat. The koi fish is generally related to abundance, to receiving lots and lots and lots. And yeah, there is this feeling of unworthiness here. It's like, what if the world was to tell you yes, and was to give you everything? I do feel the resistance of the heart, as in, I would love it, but I struggle to believe it to be true. It feels too good to be true. I don't feel like I'm worthy, and blah, 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 things of that kind, which is typical of people who've gone through in their childhood, like, who've grown up in environments where perhaps where they didn't feel safe, where it wasn't necessarily the most loving kind of environments. You catch my drift. So what do we have in tarot? For tarot cards, we got the Two of Pentacles, we got the Emperor, the Knight of Cups, the Lover's cards, and the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands, already see why it's here. It's like the Two of Pentacles, it's kind of describing the energy, like these two first cards, kind of describing the energy that we have been in for the people viewing this video, which was very much like Two of Pentacles is the energy of balancing, or trying to at least achieve a balance between two things, juggling between two coins. That's generally the idea behind that card. And here it very much refers to someone who's been living their life trying to do their best in a wounded masculine kind of energy, wounded feminine as well. I mean, just let it say straight off the bat, you cannot have a wounded masculine without having a wounded feminine. Like, the two work hand in hand. So it would be very surprising to have one health, like a divine feminine with a wounded masculine within the same person. When one is wounded, the other one is too. But here's like the characteristics of the wounded masculine that we have, is what I described earlier, as in, yeah, feeling like the rat race, basically, feeling like you're always behind time, that you have to struggle for everything, that if you want the simplest and the smallest of things, you're gonna have to work your ass off to get it, because guess what, it has to be painful. All of these beliefs, really, they're very much beliefs, but all of this set of beliefs that we've been carrying here, they resonate with the wounded masculine. It's not a very empowered form of the masculine, obviously. It doesn't feel good. And so this kind of juggle here, it's us trying to live a life that works. It's like us feeling like we're always late, always running behind something, and just creating a life where we try to normalize the fact that we're running always behind something. Others do it, why wouldn't we be doing it, right? Juggling that with our heart. Here we typically got the sensitives on this call, especially considering the energy. Very sensitive energy, as in people who are very aware of what's going on within themselves, people who, despite their better judgment, even though they wished they weren't able to, they struggle to ignore what's going on within. It's a bit of a struggle for them to not know the truth. So when things are out of alignment, it's harder for them to ignore that because they feel the pain very much obviously. Balancing this kind of life, which is very much out of alignment with a crying heart, basically, is just like there's this longing within of I just wish things were going differently, that things could just work more effortlessly, that things could be going more smoothly, that I didn't have to be always acting and running behind the ball, that perhaps I could just, what I was saying at the beginning, like this divine feminine energy, just relaxing and letting the universe taking care of me. Which, disclaimer, if that is a heart desire, it means that this is how you're meant to be operating. It just happens that your mind is very much not on board with that. This idea doesn't make the mind feel safe because it has never seen that, it has never had the experience of that, and that's okay. But this is very much what we're coming from here. This is what we've been going through. So I typically see the kind of life of a person who, what feels in forever, has always been running behind the ball, always putting like a lot of work. It's the stressed out people who are always running left and right, who struggle to allow them to relax, and at the same time people who are chronically unhappy. You know, the more sensitive you are, the more likely you are to have been a person who has chronically experienced burnouts, I'm hearing, because it's just this idea of having to push yourself further and further and further out of alignment for the sake of surviving. That's kind of the mentality that is getting through here. It's like survival, what feels like ever since we were a thing in this world, survival was just like up to us to fix. It's like it was our job, even as tiny little babies, to fix our survival, to take care of that, which is actually not possible. But out of survival, we tried, very much what feels like, to take ownership of that, and that's why it started completely out of alignment since the beginning. So like the wound very much here is the fact that there wasn't the feeling of being parented, because very likely these people were not parented, and that's okay. But what I'm hearing is that we have come to the point of awareness where people, the viewers of this video, are realizing, you know what, screw it. I have been hearing my heart crying for so long. I have grown in awareness. I am capable of understanding. I am aware of the fact that if my heart is longing for that, it means that there's something there. And I also see that this life anyway doesn't work for me. And that's where there is the opening up. And the pride from spirit saying, hey, you're ready. You're ready for a freaking big shift. This shift being opening up the feminine, which is a hard thing for those who have been growing up and feeling chronically insecure for most of their life. I get it. That's why there is a lot of pride on behalf of spirit for you showing up to this in the first place. It's like, not many people do that, honeybee, okay? You showing up to this, you daring to go against everything you're programmed with, all of your programmings which you have associated with surviving, which feels very much at the end like doing exactly the opposite of what your mind would tell you you need to do in order to survive, which is a very scary thing in of itself, in order to actually get to know the truth, get to know yourself, and live a life which is worth living. That's why it's like, it is the right thing for you to do. That's a confirmation, by the way, for those who've been wondering. because there's still this war, this juggle between like, what should I do between the heart and the mind. It's like, no, you are making the right choice, but yes, it is normal for it to feel like a bit of a struggle at first when you do not see the truth just yet. Although I feel it's very near considering what we have going on. But it's like, we have to honor the bravery. Like, seriously take a minute to recognize that and being honest with ourselves. The work that you are doing, and by quote unquote work, I'm referring to you being willing to look at it. That's just what's needed at this point. Like, the work that you're willing to do takes a lot of bravery that not many people, quote unquote, have. It's like every person can be brave, but most choose not to. You know, people generally choose, and you know this, to just continue on with their programmings and just keep on running after the ball and keep on surviving, never considering the idea that perhaps their heart were right, perhaps your intuition is right, perhaps you actually know the truth. That being said, this is very much the energy we're coming from. Now, we've got the Knight and the Lovers, plus the Five of Wands. That's a fun thing, actually, because the Knight and the Lovers, they both talk about the heart. It's like the Knight of Cups, just look at this stance, I mean. The Knight of Cups is the one that goes, just the Knight, whatever the suit in tarot. At first, the Knight is the one that goes out into the world to bring the gifts of the suit into the world. Here we got the Knight of Cups. The Cups is the emotions, the inner world, the intuition, that which we love. The Knight of Cups is the one that goes on to live their life aligned with their heart and their intuition, doing what they know to be right. You see, like, in this picture even, we don't have... And when we say a knight, you would imagine like a medieval person with their plate armor and a sword. It's like, that's not really what we have here, right? There is a sword, technically, but that's very much not the idea. Here it's like the person that goes out into the world and who just says, screw you. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna live my best life. The way I intended it to before even coming to this world. I'm gonna live my life out of what makes me feel passionate, what fills my cup, what fills up my cup. The Knight of Cups is very much like this glamorous, romanticizing archetype here, and it's very much, yeah, like feeling a life which feels emotionally fulfilling and being unapologetic about it, as in having the boundaries which say, no, I know my truth, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing it out of denial, out of oblivion, out of just, naivety. I'm doing it because I know it to be true. I know it's in my heart. I know this is what I'm meant to be doing, although it makes no sense to the mind of those around. And the Lovers, it's like, you come back here. The Lovers card here is very much like, it feels to me like the inner union of our masculine and feminine, saying it felt wrong for so long because guess what? Because it was. You ain't stupid. And that is something that needs to be heard. It's like, I feel that here on this call, we got some people who've been doubting themselves, understandably, for the longest time, because somehow their heart is always pointing out the different directions from what seems so logical to do in order to keep themselves safe. And it's like, no, you're not stupid. You did know the answer. You already did. It just so happens that the truth has been hidden away. But you already felt it. The Lover is very much the union of the masculine and the feminine. It's us starting to live a life with the feminine, where we get to let ourselves being taken care of by the universe, where we let ourselves flow with life instead of against it, and the masculine that would protect it and care for it. We will stand strong for our opened hearts. Does it make sense? I hope. And it also opens the doors up to profound self-love and acceptance. I'm hearing. So it's like beautiful energies that we are opening up to, definitely. The Five of Wands is fun because it refers to a time of chaos, a time of competition, a time of conflict. And I genuinely feel that it is both an inner and outer kind of conflict. We have the conflict of the mind and the heart, which has been going on in forever, what feels like in this timeline, but which is reflected outside, like someone just wanting to live their life the way that they intended to, and the environment being constantly around criticizing and opposing. There is this conflict or energy, even if it's not meant, even if it's not conscious, there is conflict. That's what I'm getting. And we just see ourselves like trying to stand tall and keep our head out of the water with our prize, which would be here the heart. And I'm just hearing like spirit saying, no more. It's like you've understood the lesson. You know why the feminine is so important. You know why in this new age of Aquarius, as the new earth is more and more of a physical reality, the feminine is not just welcomed, it is very much needed and important. These are all things that are starting to make sense. It's like the feminine is not a luxury. Allowing ourselves to be led by our hearts and our intuition is not fun, it's not whimsical, it's not naive. It's letting ourselves being guided by the truth, by God. Whereas the masculine just tries to go and go and go. It is operating from the mind. There's nothing wrong with that, just the fact that the mind doesn't know the truth. It understands very much, but it doesn't know. So yeah, just look at our society. If you just let your mind lead the way, you are going to go very, very far, no doubts about it. But it's very unlikely you're going to go where you want to go. You're going to go very, very far, probably not where you want to go. Look at our world today. We've gone very, very far as a species. Arguably, we've messed a few things up along the way, right? It's like the mind's going to bring you far, not where you want to go. The heart's going to bring you where you want to go. So it's not like the feminine, opening up the feminine our hearts is a luxury. It's very much needed. But here we're having the situation of, yeah, but sure, but historically it's been a bit of a struggle. So that is a beautiful thing. Let's bring out some other cards because it feels like the conversation is not done just yet. We're having more like of a, so far with the tarot we just had like where we're coming from, what is happening, where we're going, but it feels like we're missing an element. Spirit is wanting, whoop. Yeah, exactly. Spirit is wanting to bring a what now? You know the past, you know the future. What about now though? Why were we brought to this reading in the first place? Why did Spirit wanted to catch our attention? And that makes sense. Let me just take a bit of water. Work through your fears. I mean, I couldn't make it up. It's literally what it is. It's like, we have even discussed it. The reasons why this bit of a mess has been going on. And some of you, it's like, I just feel that there is a lot of awareness in, if you are here, you are very much aware of the situation. And by aware, I mean more than aware. You are aware it's not a matter of just, it's not just a matter of the mind. It's not a matter of the body. It goes well beyond that. It's a very energetical matter. By that, I mean that it's not a matter of you have to push yourself harder, you have to do things differently. It's very much your state of being. That's why somehow I'm linking it up to what appeared at first. Like we had briefly a conversation about manifestation, and I was like, okay, sure. But it feels like it's coming back here. It's like, people here, you are aware that what we're talking about isn't just a matter of what you are doing or what you are thinking. It's a matter of who you are being. It's your energetic frequency that we're talking about. You understand? It goes well beyond just what you're thinking. And so it's important. It is very much important, for one. And a second thing, yeah, it's like we were talking about where we are coming from, and we touched on it. It's like bad memories of how we grew up. which is completely understandable because this kind of situationship in which a kid grows up in an unsafe environment, as much when we say out loud, yeah, it's like we understand that it kind of sucks, you know? It's kind of normal nowadays. As when you say out loud, yeah, sure, it's not fun, but it's normalized. How many of us are aware of their emotions? More and more as the day pass, sure. Like more and more people become aware of themselves. That's true. But as a collective, as a species, we're not there just yet. So, like, it's normal nowadays, sadly, for someone to go through these experiences. That's okay in and of itself. That's okay, but that's something to keep in mind. It's like, as much as we may have been normalizing it, no, it's not. That's very much like these three cards are very much calling out for shadow work. I'm not gonna lie. It's an invitation. It's like these heavy emotions that have been coming up to the surface, especially lately, they're indicating something very important. Perhaps we may not be willing so much to be exploring these emotions because they may feel a little dreadful, which is very much fair, very understandable. Please don't do that if you are not feeling like doing it, especially alone on your own. It's like you know yourself. You know how to process your own emotions. I can tell that most of you are very familiar with that actually. But what I'm getting is you need to go within. It's like the very reason to why we have been living according to these beliefs paradigms, to this paradigm basically, these sets of beliefs, is because of how we grew up, is because of the environment in which we grew up. We're talking about developmental trauma straight up here. We're talking about someone who's just grown up this way and just, it wasn't fun, it wasn't cool growing up this way. But to make it less painful, well, one of the first coping mechanisms that we grew up with is just normalizing our childhood environment, as good or not so good as it may be. And that's very much what I'm getting here is like, for me in Pisces, there is a call to be honest with ourselves. It's like Spirit is saying you are actually so much closer than what you realize, and you don't give yourself enough credit for how aware you are. You are very much aware of what's going on, and it's like you just gotta be aware of how your mind plays tricks on you. Although it's very much, it's not fair to say it this way because this is not the intention. Your mind is not wanting to play tricks on you at all. It's just that your mind is just doing what it's doing its best to cope with pain, okay? But I'm getting this idea with the full moon of Pisces of derealization, being a little whimsical, like denying a little bit, nah, that's not so bad, things of that kind. It's like there is the invitation to just being lovingly honest with ourselves. What are these emotions pointing towards? Yes, it's about what happened in the past. We knew that. Okay, sure. There is the invitation to being honest. Oop, move the camera. Being honest with what happened there, because we may have been normalizing things that actually aren't so normal. We may have been normalizing things that actually we're not meant to be carrying into our future. There is this idea of us having normalized things which we shouldn't. Again, it's okay to normalize things, that's normal. It's a very human thing to do. But in this case, it's not playing out in our favor because these emotions that we're trying to process, that's where they're coming up. They feel locked up, bottled up, because there's this sensation of not being so willing to confront them because we're not looking at them straight up. Like, we're not actually looking at them. We're not so willing to look at them. It just feels like we're trying to flirt our way around these emotions, which yet again is understandable, but here it's like, I mean, come on. You can feel the energies we're opening up to. This is well worth the ride. But yeah, being honest with ourselves, being honest with what we have experienced, understanding that if it feels painful, it's because no, it was not normal, although it may be the only thing we have seen. Bless it. But yeah, there's this invitation to just take time for ourselves and go with it. I think, yet again, this is not new. you already know that. Perhaps the only thing new is like just spirits saying that they are here, they are present, they are more than willing to be helping you. And in fact, they have already been doing this, they've already been guiding you through this. That's why they've led you to this video. Spirit is just wanting to assist you in your healing, with a bit of an accent on this message of you already know what needs to be seen, felt, and let go of. You're very much aware of that already. It's just that there's been a bit of unwillingness on your behalf, understandably, yet again. One of the things being like you normalizing what has happened, whereas it was not normal. You gotta be honest with yourself at some point, honey. Oh, but yeah, now getting redirected onto this, we want to be exploring these energies. The crystals that I naturally gravitated towards in this video, not even thinking about it, was like the ones you can see I already discussed. Like, I can even show you. Like, I got this wooden ball and all the crystals. I'm sensitive to crystals' frequencies, and although it may be a bit of an unpopular opinion, they do generate thoughts. They are consciousnesses. And they don't enjoy necessarily hanging out like around other crystals. And so these ones are operating like a family, and their energy is very much the one of the feminine. So we got like orange selenite, we got yellow calcite, we got rose sand, we got I don't know how many rose quartz. It's such a sweet feminine energy, such an invitation to the. We're now wanting to explore the energy that we are opening up to, this yearning in our hearts. It's like all of this which we've been seeing, very dark cards, dark colors, by the way, as you may be able to tell here. This is what we're currently dealing with. This is what we are already aware of. It's just a matter of time before we are actually willing to take the time and go in and cry it out, basically. Now we are exploring the more colorful cards, as we can tell, of what's on the other side. Like, what is this heart yearning? Because I can tell you feel it too. It's like, sure, there is these dreadful emotions underneath, which are just asking for our love, but this part of us that we are learning to love and to embody, what is this part of us wanting to express? How is it wanting to express itself into the world? What is this heart yearning about? And so far, many colors. This one wanted... Nope, it was... Yes, it was this one. And we may even notice that the colors are very much similar to one of our crystals here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take the darker cards out for the time being. It's a little overwhelming to have all of these cards piled up. This deck too. I'm gonna be using them all at the end. Okay, Spirit, one or two other cards. The Wildling, love that. And this one. Shadow. Okay. You are like the codes of Del, the secret flow of yes. It's just like the invitation. Imagine a life that feels effortless, where you don't have to make things happen. And I just feel like I am saying the words of every spiritual guru that describes manifestation. You just have to see in your mind's eye. You don't have to make it happen. Pushing it and forcing yourself to make it happen is resistance. You just have to vibrate at the frequency of just having it and blah, blah, blah. It's very much what we're talking about here. It's like this part of us is just pure light. It's the one that believes. It's the one that knows that the answer is always yes. It's the one that firmly believes, that has no doubt about it. It is the loving, the light-hearted part of us, the kid we used to be, basically, that we are being asked to reintegrate. This overexcited ball of joy, furry ball of light, which is just wanting to say, you know what? I'm just dreaming of my life being this way. I'm just dreaming of myself being this person. And it's so exciting. It's so cool. And I'm so happy because I just know it's going to happen. As simple as that. That's what you would call typical conscious manifestation. This is very much the energies that we're dealing with. This is very much what's within us, which is wanting to come through, wanting to be owned again. The wildling and shadow. The wildling is, I love this card, is very much about like us just going wild. Cutting the cords, cutting away the inhibition, self-imposed inhibition, and just going for it. You know what? You have grown up with all of these dreams for a freaking reason. You grew up with these dreams because you were meant to make it happen. As colorful and different from what you today see as the mundane they may be. Perhaps your dreams are very big and very colorful. That's why you have them. And the shadow, it's a fun card because it's just telling me that it's just spirit wanting us to remind. Yeah, it's spirit wanting to remind us of a little detail that we already know, but that needs to be said again. It's like, are you aware that the things you're the most scared of, you know, like these dreadful emotions we were tuning into before, they don't feel good, they don't feel nice, we don't want to go back there because it sucks, sure. The little kid which is in these emotions that we are not so willing to spend time around, not only it is us back then, but this shadow of ours is the very one which is holding this light. So it's like, you want this? Yes, well, guess what? It's already within you. Where is it? In these dreadful emotions. Go rescue it. That's what I'm hearing. Just go rescue yourself. Because you're worth it. It's like all of this light, all of this joy, all of this openness, this abundance, arguably a strong word coming through, abundance, is already within yourself. That which you're the most scared of is your biggest blessing. This beautiful ball of light and love that you have been craving to reintegrate for I don't know how many years it feels like. For some of you, maybe literally years. Just wanting to live a life which feels simple, where things just flow naturally, synchronicity, and the universe just makes it for you. This life is one you are meant to be living. That's why you desire it. That's why it feels so good and natural to feel into it. This energy, you feel it. Guess what? Because this feeling is within you. It's within you. All of that already exists within you. But that thing is the very thing which wants your attention, wants to become yet again a part of you, that wants to be completely accepted, owned, and expressed. It is the one that is wanting you to save them, to save it from the dreadful emotions. Perhaps there may be a little bit of a permission slip that may help you into being more willing to explore these not so fun emotions. Ooh. One or two last cards I'm feeling like to wrap it up. That's a profound reading, and honestly feels like, oh, feels like a very much needed one. But it's like, it feels so sweet, but it comes with fears. It is, I just heard this quote, I don't remember what it was nor when I heard it, but it was very much like, the things you're the most afraid of are your biggest gifts and blessings. And it's very much what we are talking about here. It's like the things you're the most scared of. It's your light. It is you at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, you're epic, literally. It's like, sure, you got your head into your feelings right now, so you don't necessarily see it all that much, but oh my god, is the world lucky to have you. And another thing is change maker make waves. This reintegration that you're opening yourself up to, because this is very much what we're talking about here. You have no idea how profound the transformation is. It is you embodying again your feminine. That's huge. That is huge. Expect powerful shifts. But anyway, you're not going to believe me until you experience it yourself. So you know what? Up for you to discover it now. Thank you so much for having shared space with me today. That was a heck of a reading. I understand better now why it's not for everyone. But if you are here, if you followed it till the end, thank you so much. That was a fun ride, to say the least. I'm so excited, honestly. It is such an interesting energy, such a beautiful thing. It's such it just feels like, it feels so empowering. So yeah, I'm so happy that you are on this path, that you are about to reintegrate that, because life's gonna get that much better, honestly. Look at the colors, I mean. That being said, please let me know in the comments if it resonated. What are your thoughts about it? Please just let me know you're here. I love to be connecting with you in the comments. I love reading your comments. And yes, please like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. That being said, I'm going to be seeing you in my next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, literally, okay? Because allowing ourselves to love our fears is, to me, a form of self-love. And yeah, I'm going to be seeing you in my next video. Bye.